Good day and welcome to this week's edition of the 15, my rugby podcast. My name is Hendrik Fourie, all the way from sunny South Africa in Johannesburg, where I talk about anything rugby that interests me. I talk specifically from a South African point of view. I'm a big Lions supporter, Lions in terms of South African rugby, right here in Joburg. So I talk from that perspective. For those of you who have complained about all the South Africans having nothing to do while the Springboks are not playing, I think you're right. And so for the first time ever, I'm following the Six Nations tournament intently, and I'm finding it very, very interesting. I'm loving it, but a bit more about that in our next segment. Right, so in this episode, we're mainly going to talk about Six Nations rugby and the weekend that's coming up, round 4 of that. Just before that, from a URC perspective, the Lions last week clinched their South African Shield. For those of you who are interested in that, I'm quite bored at the moment in terms of the URC that's been staggered so much. But at least not next weekend. Well, the next weekend, the Bulls are playing the Stormers. It's going to be something. And the weekend after that, it's everything go again in terms of the URC. But right, back to the Six Nations, which, as I said a little bit earlier, is very, very interesting to me. I'm really enjoying it this year. First up tonight, actually, is Ireland v Wales tonight in South African time at 10:10 at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. So we're going to talk about that match in a bit more detail later on. Then tomorrow, Saturday, 7th March, is Scotland v France. That's going to be an interesting match as well. That will be 4:10 in South African time. And after that, it's Italy taking on the Mighty Roses in Italy at the Stadio Olimpico at 7:20 South African time tomorrow. Right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the weekend's men's Six Nation matches. First up tonight is Ireland v Wales. I suppose that everybody will be looking at this match and saying it's basically a gimme for Ireland. I'm not so sure. I'm always one to support the underdog, and the way that Wales have been playing and improving over the past Six Nations, I've been impressed. They've come close. The previous round against Scotland was a pretty close one. And quite frankly, if you go and analyze their matches, they're playing good rugby with ball in hand. I think they need to work on the kicking game a little bit, especially. But I think they're not far off from where they would be. All right, let's just look at the Ireland team. Firstly, for tonight, they haven't lost to Wales since 2021. So they'd like to keep that record. Wales would like to turn that around. Ireland starting 15 for tonight. Number 1, Tomo 2, 2, Ronan Keller, 3, Tyg Furlong, 4, James Ryan, 5, Tyke Burns, 6, Jack Conan, 7, Nick Tamoni, 8, Caelan Doris, 9, Jamison Gibson Park, who had a massive game last time around. 10, Jack Crowley coming back into the starting lineup. 11, Jacob Stockdale. 12, Stuart McCloskey. 13, Gary Ringrose. 14, Robert Balakoon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And 15, Jamie Osborne. That will be the starting lineup for Ireland. Wales starting lineup: 1, Rhys Carr. 2, Dewey Lake. 3, Thomas Francis. 4, Dafford Jenkins. 5, Ben Carter. 6, Alex Mann. 7, James Botham, who replaces the injured Tane Plumtree. 8, Aaron Wainwright, who I love, by the way. What a player. Number 9, Thomas Williams. Number 10, Dan Edwards in for the injured Sam Costello. 11, Josh Adams. What a player. 12, Joe Hawkins. 13, Eddie James. 14, Ellis Mee replaces Gabriel Hamer-Webb. And 15, one of my favorite players of the Six Nations and in rugby all round, Louis Rees-Zammit. I absolutely love that guy's work ethic and the way that he's improved and the way that he's playing at 15. I absolutely love that. Right. My prediction, I'm always going to go with the underdog, especially if there is a chance, and I think there's a chance. And I'm going to go with Wales by 1 point. Wales by 1 point. It's got to happen sometime. Wales have got to win. Sometimes they've got 14 losses in a row. It has to turn around sometime. I'm going for Wales for the upset tonight by 1 point. Match two of this weekend is probably the matchup of the weekend. It's probably the match that's going to determine the championship tonight. It's Scotland v France at Murrayfield. It's tomorrow, Saturday, at 4:10 South African starting time. This is arguably the most important match of the weekend. Scotland has got their last opportunity to stay in the competition, stay in the hunt of a Six Nations crown. If France wins this match, basically they've won the tournament, unless something weird happens in one of the other matches. Scotland, however, needs to overcome the inconsistency, and they need to play the way that they played against England, at least to beat the French at the moment, who's just been mercurial as a team. They've been consistent. They're doing the right things at the right places on the field, and that's what's making them great at the moment, apart from their squad being in really good physical shape. If you compare them to some of the other teams, you can literally see the difference between their conditioning and those of some of the other teams. So France have just been shifting through the gears with absolute ease, and as I said, doing the right things at the right time with players like Biabiari, Anton Dupont, to name only two of them. I mean, those two are probably the standout players in that team. They are magnificent. I love Biabiari. Biabiari. I love him. Great player. On the other hand, those of you who have been listening to our podcast a little bit know that I'm not a great fan of Finn Russell. He did prove me wrong for what it's worth in their last match against England. He played a great match. I still want to see Finn Russell turn around a match against a really top team. And in this Six Nations, France is the top team. No arguments about that at this stage. And I need to see Finn Russell step up against a top tier team to make a difference, not just to make a difference, but to lead his team to a win. And this is going to be it. This is going to be the test for Finn Russell. I would love to see a great match. It depends which Scotland is going to pitch up. So Scotland under Gregor Townsend made a few changes. Let's just take it from the bottom again. Only starting lineup number one. He changed the entire front row. Piers Kuman, George Turner, Darcy Ray replaces the previous front row. This is a solid front row. Gregor Brown and Scott Cummings at number 4 and 5. Matt Ferguson, Rory Dawes, Jack Dempsey comes in again at number 8. Backline, fairly consistent. Ben White 9, Finn Russell at 10, Kyle Stan and Darcy Graham. Let me just say something about that. Darcy Graham deserved to be in the starting lineup from the word go. I still don't understand how he was omitted in the first round or two. Darcy Graham is magnificent and very, very understandably keeping both of these players, both Carl Steyn and Darcy Graham, keeping Duan van der Merwe out of the squad at the moment. Duan will have to make some adjustments to his game in order to gain back his starting position, if that's going to happen. Then number 12 and 13, Tuipelotu and Jones, with Blair Kinghorn, a player that I also really love. at 15. Quite a consistent player at the back. Then, when we move over to the French team under Fabien Galtier, I hope that the French people that are the French / English people that are listening appreciate my pronunciation. I'll do my best. Number 1, Jean-Baptiste Gros. 2, Julien Marchand. 3, Dorian Aldeguerri. I don't know if that's right. Number 4, Charles Olivon. 5, Michael Gillard. 6, Francois Cros, or Cross, maybe. 7, Oscar Giroux. 8, Anthony Gelonge. I don't know. Help me. Number 9, Antoine Dupont, the little general who's really playing great. Even from a South African point of view, I will say this, that he's the absolute foundation of the French team, which is great when he's there. The problem is if Antoine Dupont gets injured and he's not there, that is the risk that they are running at the moment. Number 10, Mathieu Jalibert. 11, my favorite player in the tournament, Louis Biarre. 12, Yoram Moefana. Help me with that pronunciation. 13, Nicolas Deporter. 14, Theo Atisorbel. And 15, Thomas Ramos. So I'm going to definitely go with France for this match. France by 10, at least, I would say. If Scotland pitches up, if they pitch up like they did against England, I still think France by 10 points. I'm sorry to say, I don't think the Scottish team at this moment has what it takes to upset the French. But you know what? I'm wrong often. So that's my prediction for match 2 of the weekend. Third matchup of the weekend could also be an interesting match. England really need to come to the party. That match is going to take place Saturday, 20 to 8 p.m., 20 to 8 at night, South African time. Take note of that. So Italy have made 3 changes. One thing we have to say, everybody's got to say it, and they're saying it. Is that Italy has been great and maybe unfortunate not to have won at least one more match in this Six Nations. They haven't had the results going their way apart from the first round, and they will definitely be hoping for an upset against England. They're still looking for their first win against England. It could be tomorrow. That could happen. We don't know yet. We will know. So England, on the other hand, they under fire. They're under massive pressure, and their coach has made 12 changes overall, 9 starting lineup changes to the team, and 3 positional changes. The only players that kept their place is captain Maro Itoje, Ellis Genge, Joe Hayes, Tom Curry, Ben Earl, and Tommy Freeman. The rest is all a new team. I never know what to think when there's like massive changes like that in a team, because you're actually supposed to have had sorted out your team by now. To make wholesale changes like this, it always seems a little bit desperate. But I mean, if your team isn't delivering, then I suppose you've got to make some changes. Anyways, let's look at the teams. And Italy first. It's a home match for them. Front row is Fischetti, Nicotera, and Ferrari. 4 and 5 is Canone and Zambonin. 6, the captain also, Michel Lamaro. Michel Lamaro. 7, Manuel Giuliani. 8, Lorenzo Canone. 9, Alessandro Carvisi, who comes in. 10, Paolo Carbisi, so the 2 brothers playing together. Well done to them. 11, Monti Ioani. 12, Tommaso Menoncello. 13, also in one of the few changes, Juan Ignacio Brex. Looking forward to see what he can do. 14, Louis Lina, who's been really solid. What a good player this tournament. 15, Lorenzo Pani. That's the Italian team. And then if we look at the English squad quickly, major changes. Oh, come on. Major changes for that. Um, Number 1, Ellis Genge. 2, Jamie George. 3, Joe Hayes. 4, Maro Itoje. 5, Alex Coles. 6, Guy Pepper. 7, Tom Curry. 8, Ben Earl. 9, Ben Spencer. 10, Finn Smith. 11, Caden Murley. 12, Seb Atkinson. 13, Tommy Freeman. 14, Tom Roebuck. And 15, Elliot Daly. I hope this lives up to the expectation that it's going to be a really good match. My prediction here, again, I will go with the slight underdog here, Italy by 3. It's got to happen. It's got to happen sometime. And I think Italy, if they play well, deserves a second win in this Six Nations. Well, that's all from me in terms of this week's edition of the 15. Hopefully, I'll be back early next week with a review of the weekend's matches. I'm enjoying this year's Six Nations. I hope that you are. I can't see France not winning it at this stage, but we'll definitely know after this weekend whether they've won it or whether somebody else still has a chance to take the 2026 Men's Six Nation crown. Cheers.